Hello, everybody. I am Christian, and this is Teamwork Cast.
Hello, this is Shepard, also from Teamwork Cast, ready to crawl into your heart.
Now I'm Cthulhu, ready for Shepard to impregnate my sexy body.
That's not exactly where I was going with that.
You're the male bug, I'm the female bug. Do it now!
So I can eat your head afterwards.
Exactly.
That's actually one of the game my students made recently. They made a praying mantis dating game.
That'd be
Praying
interesting.
mantis?
Yeah.
Like, where you have to eat, like...
So are you the male bug dating a bunch of praying mantises, and you have to figure out which one's going to bite your head off?
No, it's actually really smart. So it's basically like a conversation type of game where you have it's multiplayer, and you have a conversation with each other, and it's like the male praying mantis and the female praying mantis, and they both have to like figure out whether they're gonna have sex or not, or whether the relationship's gonna stay platonic.
Okay.
It's pretty cool. I like it a lot. Anyways, we are you guys and you probably won't see a gap, but we haven't been recording for a while now. It's a new year. It's 2017 now.
Yep. 2017.
And we're kicking it off with a beautiful gathering quest.
Yep, it's close coal. It's from the Royal Cook. If I don't have coal to roast tonight's feast, my goose is cooked! Actually, it won't be cooked, but I'll still end up in hot water. Not literally. Oh, just help me, will you?
Man, Cthulhu, I missed this. I missed this so much when I was almost gone. How was your guys' holidays?
I missed you.
Yeah.
I missed you too.
I had a good Christmas and stuff, but unfortunately I got sick like right after Christmas, and it basically only got better on the New Year, so it was a little crappy in that regards.
Staying sick during the holidays is the worst.
Yeah.
Because you're wasting precious time where you could do something else.
Yeah, it's like
where you could do nothing else. I mean,
I had plans to do something on my birthday and everything, and no, I was sick, so I just stayed home and did nothing.
What about you, Shepard?
So, over the summer, I had tried to put together this computer that would output 15 kilohertz resolutions. For those of you wondering, that's also known as 240p, also known as like the native resolution of like the Nintendo and the Super Nintendo and the Genesis and everything like that. And I'd gotten so close, but it involved installing a custom Linux distro called Groovy MAME, or Groovy Arcade. Christian, you see where this is going?
I see. I know. You're trying to make a arcade cabinet.
Well, it was. I wanted it to output to a CRT television, and I think it might be a little bit easier for you because over in the Eurozone, you guys have like SCART adapters and things like that. And your TVs are already probably designed to already take in a pretty good quality signal, but in the U.S. at least, it's not that common. SCART is nearly impossible to find outside of like professional, like medical monitors and things like that.
Yeah.
So I actually did finally achieve it, though. So I stopped halfway through summer because, like, I finally put everything together. Everything was installed. Everything was looking okay. And then it was time to actually connect the damn thing and set up, like, all of the games and stuff on the computer in the summer. And it was, like, 98 degrees out. And I put it in, and it's not working. I'm like, screw this, screw Linux, screw life. And I just stopped. But I finally got the will up to do it again because there was a custom Final Fantasy VI modification that was created called Brave New World. Completely rebalances the game. This is an
amazing story, by the way. This is like
completely
this
rebalances
is a very
the game.
specific quest you're pursuing here.
Oh yeah, I mean so every single character in the game now has like a very specific role. I mean, it used to be at the end of Final Fantasy VI, everybody was like god, emperor, casters of every type, right? So you wouldn't really need to do anything specific. Well, in this case, characters like Sabin acts like a monk, Shadow acts like a ninja, so on and so forth. Edgar acts like a guy with a bunch of tools, like whatever that means. It's fun. It's good. I would recommend the clean translation because the foul translation has people saying scary, dirty words. Anyways, finally got it working. Finally got it plugged into my Triniton. Finally looks pretty good. But the worst part about when you start going down this hole is enough is never enough. And even though the emulation is probably nearly 100% accurate, right?
Yeah.
There's that chance that 1% of the time maybe it's not accurate.
Yeah.
So I actually am going to go out and actually I've already ordered a RGB modded, what do you call that thing? RGB modded Super Nintendo. And then I'm ordering a medical monitor. Something that would have been used for endoscopy for like scouting out anuses. I'm going to be using to play Super Nintendo on.
Oh, if only objects had memory.
Yeah, and so somebody here is saying in the chat, for those of you that only watch the stream, we do stream this usually Sundays at 10 in the morning. Why don't you just get a FrameMeister? Which is a great question, right? FrameMeister you can use to upscale lower resolution things to like TVs and stuff like that. It's not about making it work on a big screen TV. It's about like trying to recreate as close to an authentic 240p experience as I can. I mean, that's what I grew up with. I grew up with those scan lines. I like the scan lines. They look good. It's the way the games are designed. I don't know how people can handle that trash when it's not like that.
But doesn't the FrameMeister put scan lines in?
It can, but it's not, it's not real scan lines. It's not the real phosphorus.
It's fake.
It's fake.
What are you guys fighting there, by the way?
Oh, we should at least break his face because...
What are you fighting?
It's a young Garuga.
Ah, there you go.
He hit me when I was climbing, and it upset me terribly.
So I delivered 10 coals already.
Good job.
Just so you know.
So
that was your Christmas.
Yeah, and the other thing that really made me proud about it is like there's so many people on the internet that say like this sort of thing isn't possible.
But you did it.
I honestly believe like I'm one of maybe a handful of people that have attempted this project and actually gotten it to work. It's like there's a certain amount of e-penis that's going into this right now.
Definitely.
So it is possible for those of you 240p people out there. If you ever want to ask me about the setup, I'd be more than happy to walk you through it. It's not simple necessarily. I mean, you have to get a very specific ATI video card. You have to install a specific version of Linux, which that part's not too hard, although getting it set up is a little unintuitive. Because you can't just put the things on the SD card. You got to like SSH in. I don't know why. And then I've got a VGA to component converter, which is not cheap. I think it cost me like $100 or something like that. And then this is the best part. When you go to actually like play the game, and this is actually what really frustrated me last night, is like whoever designed this emulator, and it's a good emulator, just must assume everyone is a super genius.
Yeah.
They must, because like there's no like menu that's just like press this on your controller to like bind things. Like there's none of that. There's none of that. You got to press a function key and hope that you've wiggled everything a certain number of times so that Linux detects all the keypad inputs so that then you could rebind them. And then if in any way that's ever disconnected, it loses all the bindings. And then you have to quit out of the game and rebind it. So I might be doing something wrong.
I share your pain. So the one thing I've been doing a lot recently was the Pico 8 stuff, which we have a series on a YouTube channel.
Yep.
And so I'm using the Pocket Chip, which is kind of like a portable little computer to play a lot of Pico stuff. And getting a gamepad working on this.
Oh my god!
It's tough. It's tough. It also has a Linux distribution. There's like because in Windows there's like a menu in your system.
Well, somebody was paid. Somebody was paid a salary to like make sure gamepads work.
Yeah, and make sure
Bill
there's
Gates
you can actually see if the gamepad is connected. And you can
Bill
click
Gates
on
is
it
like,
and see.
we want to make sure people like the Xbox.
Yeah.
And so they for all of its problems, Windows you can just like do that, and like it works.
And
not
so
on
much
Linux.
with Linux is like you have to Google
Sleep.
and there's like Uh-oh, I activated my energy blade already. Oh, it didn't wake him up. Nice. And so yeah, that was
I don't have bombs. I'm sorry.
I have bombs.
Slap the face. Yeah, we want to break his face.
So yeah, I completely share your pain, Shepard. I also share your enthusiasm for this
For accuracy.
for this authentic experience.
Yeah, it's it's clearly, because anyone with basically any computer, I mean, or even a Wii, can play almost anything pretty close to the experience.
Yeah.
And that's what I'd been doing previous, and this was the gateway drug. Is the Wii is actually capable of 240p accurate output. It's very good actually, and if you use RetroArch on the Wii, on the Super Nintendo version at least, they claim it's 100% accurate, no slowdowns. The only issue is that anyone that's used RetroArch has also kind of been given like a slight introduction to the Linux experience, as I would call it.
What is RetroArch?
So RetroArch is an interesting project. They're trying to make it so that you've got like an all-in-one program that, it's like your front end, but it's like a little bit more than a front end in that, you can automatically update cores. So it's not doing the emulation, but like you'll upload like a BSNES core, right, which is a very accurate core for Super Nintendo, and do all that stuff automatically. My only issue with it, and it's a common complaint, is there's just certain design decisions on it that, again, just make you really wonder. The people that are running it are just geniuses. They must be. Because no normal person can, or at least I can't figure it out,
I wouldn't, like you say, geniuses. I wouldn't call that kind of thinking a genius.
Well, it's something. I've got, harsher terms I could use for it, and I'm not going to use it.
Okay.
Because I want to be family friendly.
I like the positive way in which
they must. I assume they must be much smarter than me.
Yeah.
They must
That's
be.
good.
But then again,
they have high opinions of the average capabilities of a human being.
And so I could easily see where that program will eventually get a fork a couple of years down the line and just work the way you think it should, right?
The capabilities are there.
Right, but let me just say, the default behavior for the escape button is not to leave a game. The default button for the escape button is
for the
to
pedestrians.
Force close the program and automatically end any SRAM that may have been loaded into memory. I mean, would you in Trauma make it so that if somebody hit escape, it was like a purge memory button, and that you could
format computer?
That the program is now deleted from your computer. You will now never see that save again. You wouldn't do that. That would be insane, right?
No, that would be very.
That would be like you would look at that as if that was a bug in the programming, and then it would need to be fixed. Yeah. No, by design. By design, force close, end.
That's actually a usability principle that
right,
the
and that's,
work of the user should be sacred. Like there should be no way to easily destroy the work that you accumulate as a user.
Right, and that's where a lot of the things come down to. And even on a closed system such as the Wii, right, where you think you would have some very easy things you could think about in terms of like how should this look, how should this function. It still doesn't really perform that way. It does. It should, but even there, you're getting things where, and really, it comes down to if you're playing the game in a way that you're looking to just get whatever out of it, it's not bad. But if you're trying to get like accurate emulation out of it, you think there'd be an easy like user config or something that already set up. It's just not. It's sad.
Did you kill her cat?
We killed it. So you want to get your cards.
How did we kill? Didn't you capture it?
I put it in a trap and I just kept stabbing it in the face. I didn't throw any trink bombs at it.
You didn't want to?
I didn't know how close it was to dying.
Oh, okay. I thought you did, and I was wondering why it didn't.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't want to bore people. Hopefully, I'm not rambling on too much.
No, it's Shepard. Don't ever apologize.
Okay.
about who you are and what your passion is. I really want to hear that. That sounds. I never knew that you had like this desire in you.
Yeah, I mean, I'd always had, some kicking around with emulators. I mean, my favorite thing ever was, I visited my brother once at a barcade over in Cincinnati. It's pretty cool. I can't remember the name of the place, but there's not too many, so it should be easy to find. And they had this whole setup, almost like a living room. And this was like maybe 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago. And, they had all these consoles set up, and they had flash carts in them, which, again, that's the sort of thing you have to think about. Is that something that I'd really be willing to put into my retro experience or not? But it's close enough on the accurate, the actual console and an actual CRT with an actual controller just feels good, Is it better? I mean, depending on when you were born and what games you grew up with, you're going to want to filter the hell out of stuff. You're not going to want to see those scan lines. You're not going to see any pixels. And I get that. That's for a certain type of person. But, if you do give it a shot, on an actual CRT over the accurate 240p on an actual controller, I think you'll see that a lot of times, the graphics look better that way. And it's counterintuitive. At 240p, less resolution. You nowadays it's like 4K, 8K, down res, super sample, anti-aliasing, you don't get that. But when you're actually going back to the actual, what was the artistic intent of these people that had a very limited amount of space to try and create art, you'll see that they actually made decisions for a certain reason. Yeah. So
yeah, definitely. They were designed to be played on a CRT.
Yeah. So again, I've got, I'm not going to turn my nose up at anyone that's, whatever, retro-pieing it up on a big TV or even doing the NES Classic Edition or any stuff like that. That's all cool. But especially if you're playing timing-sensitive games, there was a great video out there when the NES Classic got released and they were trying to do a playthrough of Mike Tyson Punch-Out with, on a LCD. And it's impossible. I mean, for them, it was impossible.
Because delay was too crazy.
I mean, it's the sort of game, you're talking, you think Monster Hunter stuff about input lag and crap like that. You try to beat Mike Tyson, you're going to have a really hard time. Because you need the extra frame, you got to predict it. I mean, he gives 4 frames of sparking before he punches you? Right?
Yeah,
So
I don't know. But you tell me. But that sounds about the kind of Windows you had back then.
Well, the greatest thing is there is an enormous amount of choice out there for people that want to play these old games, whether it's through these retro consoles that let you plug cartridges in, whether it's the actual consoles with flash carts. The actual consoles with real carts, you're going to be in for a very expensive time. That is very much a rich man's game. You're talking, one copy of, whatever, Super Mario RPG might run you $120, Yeah, you want to make a whole collection of Nintendo, you're probably looking at close to $5,000 to $6,000.
That is quite a rabbit hole.
Yeah, I'm not going down that. I'm hoping this is really the end of it. I mean,
yeah.
And really to me, I could get into the whole hobby and come out of it the other end with really multiple systems and multiple setups, possibly less than $600 or $700, which to me, I can justify that.
You pirate. You dirty pirate.
Well, I owned a lot of those games.
A lot, not all.
I owned at least 100 Nintendo games, 50 Super Nintendo games, maybe 100 Super Nintendo games. I don't know.
So this was Retro Gaming Hour with Shepard. If you have any questions to Shepard, even if you want us to address some of your questions in the next episode of Retro Gaming Hour with Shepard, let us know in the comment sections. We wish you good luck and good hunt.
Dirty pirates.
Those pixels look so good, though. It's worth it. I mean,
Oh,
it's
the
difficult.
scan
So now
lines.
we're getting into ethical questions, right? If I can no longer purchase a game legally, and I take a pretty hard line on that sort of stuff. I always, buy everything that I can. But if I can't buy it, am I supposed to not do it? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like Game of Thrones. If I can't get it, what's the harm?
All right. Stopping.
All right, stop. Stopping.
Is your heavy bow gun full of nothing but heavy shot? Get a Squatty Potty and it'll be greased up like a freshly greased... I don't even know.
Lightning.